The budget vote allows the Nguyen government to move forward with the sale of Hydro One. A weapons seizure for Pigeon River border officials. And the OPP releases its report into the Parliament Hill shooting. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Kathleen Wynne's Liberal government used its majority today to pass the new Ontario budget, and that clears the way for the sale of Hydro One, the huge electrical transmission utility.
Ms. Horvath.
Mr. Singh.
Mr. Singh.
Mr. Bisson.
Mr. Bisson.
The NDP showed their displeasure by turning their backs on the Liberals as they voted against the budget today. The NDP and the Conservatives had been pushing for the Hydro One sale to be separated from the omnibus budget bill. They warn it will result in soaring hydro bills. The Ombudsman, the Auditor General, and others have also protested the sale, saying they'll no longer be able to assess the value or quality of the utility service. The government hopes to raise $9 billion by selling 60% of Hydro One. They plan to use that money to pay down Hydro's debt and invest in public transit and infrastructure projects.
Smuggling charges have been laid against a Florida man after Canadian border agents at Pigeon River found a handgun hidden inside a vehicle last month. Canadian Border Services says they noticed something unusual when inspecting a commercial vehicle trying to enter Canada at the Pigeon River crossing on May 18th. After performing a secondary inspection, officers discovered a .380 caliber semi-automatic handgun and ammunition wedged between the bed and wall of the truck cab.
Officers referred them based on a number of indicators that they received from the traveler. During the secondary examination, they found an empty holster, a black case, and inside the black case was a .380 semi-automatic handgun along with 2 loaded magazines.
A 59-year-old man has been charged with willful evasion, smuggling, and other related charges. He has been released on bail and will appear in court on June 12th. This follows a similar incident in March when a loaded .22 caliber handgun was found in a clothing bag. A 35-year-old woman from Duluth was charged with willful evasion and smuggling. Over the past year, the Pigeon River crossing has seized 7 undeclared firearms from people attempting to enter Canada.
Thunder Bay police are cracking down on drivers who don't stop for stop signs. Officers handed out 38 tickets yesterday at an intersection in River Terrace. Today, they were set up at the corner of Fanshawe Street and Conestoga. It almost appeared to be a train of cars being pulled over for failing to stop at the signs. Sergeant Glenn Porter blames it on good driving habits eroding over time and then getting caught. He says the officers are educating those they pull over, and part of the process after making people aware is writing out the tickets.
You have to stop where the stop line is, or if there's no stop line, where the natural extension of the curb is. You have to make the effort. You have to make it so that you can see. The whole purpose for having a controlled intersection is to make sure that oncoming traffic, you're not going to get into a collision when you make that turn or continue through. So it's there for a reason. You have to obey it. If you don't, we're going to give you a little reminder in the way of a $110 ticket.
In total, 78 tickets were handed out today at that intersection, including one for failing to stop for a school bus.
Meanwhile, the Police Traffic Division is reacting to the latest legislation approved by the province. Bill C-31 passed at Queen's Park yesterday, and the new fines could cost drivers a lot if they don't obey the rules. Transportation Minister Stephen Del Duca announced the changes, including higher fines for distracted drivers. They will go up from $60 to $500 to between $300 to $1,000 plus 3 demerit points. Sergeant Glenn Porter of the Thunder Bay Police says the bill will impact more than just distracted driving, as 40 to 50 other changes will come into effect. It also concerns cyclists and pedestrians and gives police more power when it comes to charging impaired motorists.
They're recognizing that impaired is no longer by alcohol. Impaired by drug is a big part of the whole picture, and they're taking steps to close off some of the loopholes that were there before. They're allowing us to do the roadside suspensions and impoundments as a result of impaired by drug now.
Porter says for the most part, the new laws come down to common sense.
The Lake Superior National Marine Conservation Area is about to become a legal reality. 8 years after Prime Minister Stephen Harper was in Nipigon to announce the new type of park along the coast of Lake Superior, The Conservative government has introduced an act to create the world's largest marine heritage site. It'll protect nearly 10,000 square kilometers of water from the tip of the sleeping giant all the way past Terrace Bay. In 2009, Ottawa committed to building an interpretive centre in Nipigon as an anchor for the site. The Vice President of Parks Canada will meet with Nipigon Mayor Richard Harvey Friday to discuss the next move now that the legislation's been announced.
That was 2009. We're in 2015. Finally, we're excited to see some things are moving forward. There's an options analysis being done for the building and for an interpretive center. They're looking at that stuff now. That's great. But we're doing our part as well by doing our infrastructure development for our waterfront. And we need to have those commitments, and we need to know from Parks Canada now what's happening so we can make sure that we bring the appropriate infrastructure to that area.
Harvey says developing unique ecotourism economies around the conservation area will define the next decade along the North Shore.
Officials at TBT and other wireless providers are expecting an influx of contract cancellations over the coming days. Cell phone users who signed a 3-year contract before June of 2013 can now walk away from it without any financial penalties. On June 3, 2013, the Wireless Code of Conduct was introduced and came into effect later that year. It was introduced by the CRTC and gave all service providers certain requirements, including scrapping 3-year wireless contracts. That means if customers signed a 3-year contract before June 3rd as of today, their cancellation fee would be $0. TBT spokesperson Katie Crow says she can't give a number as to how many customers could be affected in the city.
Without being able to offer a 3-year agreement, which would mean that over that course of time we could recoup the cost of the device. We have a shorter time in which to do that. It hasn't affected our pricing. I think that we, in this market at TBT, have amongst the most competitive pricing in the country. And we've been preparing for the implementation of the code since 2013.
After a 2-year suspension, the University of Ottawa is reinstating its varsity hockey team come the fall of 2016. The team was pulled off the ice last year after 2 players were charged with sexual assault following a road trip to Thunder Bay. Former Ottawa GG's captain David Fouché and his co-accused Guillaume Donovan were charged with sexual assault last year following a 5-month police investigation. The alleged incident involved a 21-year-old woman at the Victoria Inn following a GG's game against the Lakehead Thunderwolves in February of 2014. The case made national headlines and led to the suspension of the entire hockey team. Today, the university announced it's relaunching the team for the 2016-17 season after putting a series of measures in place. The behavioral guidelines include sexual violence training for players, coaches, and team staff, along with sessions that cover hazing, harassment, and anti-doping. The 2 cases involving Fouché and Donovan have yet to be heard in a Thunder Bay courtroom.
Well, finding new ways to promote literacy in 2015 can be difficult, but a group of high school students is putting its building skills towards the cause. Throughout Thunder Bay, residents can expect to see more free little libraries popping up. Ashley Bacon has the story.
There are already a few little libraries located throughout the city, like this one on Hill Street and the one on High Street across from Hillcrest Park. But soon, there will be 4 more. The grade 10 technology class at St. Patrick High School has been building these little libraries for the last month and a half. The project was developed by Leona McEwen, a former principal at the Thunder Bay Catholic District School Board. She thought it was a great way to promote literacy while giving the construction students a class project.
You can tell that they're very dedicated, and they're also interested in a better community for everyone. So promoting literacy, getting involved with numeracy, sharpening their skills. It's been a great experience.
The students we spoke with were excited to learn new skills that help them build the libraries. They say seeing the finished product has been rewarding.
We worked hard on it about a month and a half. We started off by nailing the frame together, and then we put the roof on and started doing some cedar shingles with capping on the top. So it was pretty fun. We got to do some new stuff.
I don't know, it's just a nice thing to do, I find, because I get stuff from the community all the time, like all the parks and everything, all the maintenance that we get. It's just a good thing to give back to them.
Technology teacher Corey Gagnon says he jumped at the opportunity to have his students take part in the project. He He says the students were engaged the entire time.
It was a cool project. Besides being literacy, it was a little miniature house. They did a roof, and so it's an engaging project. They're a great group of kids, and I think anytime they can give back to the community, they were just. It was cool that they knew that they're going to build something that would be out in the community and they could go see. I think they really thought that was neat.
Although the final locations of the libraries have not been announced, they will be set up around the city. Ashley Bacon, TBT News.
Took a few years to gain momentum, but a group of students at St. Ignatius High School are getting their message through to smokers. The students did a cup run this week. It's a Smoke-Free Ontario pilot project, and it involves them using cups in their school fence to encourage others to quit smoking. The idea is a popular one, which has been run in the past, and while the students say smoking is less common nowadays, more work needs to be done.
Honestly, I think it's getting better. Like, if you look at our parents' generations compared to ours, obviously it's gotten a lot better, but there's still some work to do, so.
Well, according to the stats, it's actually fairly low for high school students. However, you know what I mean? You still see I know it's the same kids, but you still see too many kids out there, you know, whether it's chewing tobacco or it's cigarettes, they're still using it. And now they have the flavored tobacco, so it's hard.
White says they hope the display will stay up throughout the week, a feat which Roberto says is possible as the students are keen to maintain the message.
Thunder Bay coffee drinkers were helping send a kid to camp today. That's because today is Tim Hortons Camp Day. That means 100% of coffee sales will be donated to the Tim Hortons Children's Foundation, which sends kids from low-income homes on a life-changing camp experience. To help with the cause, Thunder Bay police officers were also on hand, volunteering their time, helping wash car windows for donations.
It's a great cause, sending unfortunate kids to camp so they get some experience and just have some fun. Something that we enjoy doing, just helping out the community. Especially kids that are in need.
We have all our staff here that didn't work today volunteering their time to help send the kids to camp. So they were here till 1 in the morning last night, decorating, getting all the bags, the prizes together. They went out. They got donations from all across Thunder Bay.
Steve says besides coffee sales, they had about 100 cash donations come through already. Camp Day will run until May.